Pika-pee, Pikachu?
Nintendo Switch Lite has only been out for a couple months, and we already have the first special edition system celebrating Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, what's a little weird about this one is the fact that Sword and Shield isn't out yet for a week, and this doesn't even have the game. It's just a special edition system based on the games, which honestly still looks really cool. So we're gonna open it up and check it out. And here it is. That is really pretty, actually. So what's going on with this special edition that's a little different, I think, from how a lot of special editions are normally designed is a heavy emphasis is placed on the buttons for the coloration instead of the overall body. So the body has this kind of gray design that's different from the regular gray Switch Lite. In fact, I have that over here. The gray Switch Lite is this very dark kind of slate gray, whereas this is a much lighter one. And of course, in the way that Nintendo's been doing a lot of their special editions right now for the Switch, we have not super colorful designs, but some etchings of the two legendaries from Sword and Shield. I might mess this up. Zacian and Zamazenta? I don't know if I pronounced that right, but those are the two legendaries for this next game on the back of the Switch. And then the colors are actually on the controls. So the D-pad and the left stick are blue, which is the color they're using for Pokemon Sword. And then you have this kind of pinkish red, what would you call that? Like maroon? No, not maroon. Anyways, this color is for Pokemon Shield for the ABXY and the right stick, which I really like that concept actually. That is a really neat idea. This is something Nintendo's messed with a little bit before. I think when they did the 3DS for Pokemon White and Black, that one had a kind of white-black aesthetic going on for each side. I think it's really neat that they put the colors just on this because it adds just a little bit of a splash while maintaining one solid color for the system itself. And then all the other buttons for the shoulders, plus and minus, capture and home screen, those are all just white, which adds just a little bit of off tone. I'm not sure if I would have preferred having the color on those two. I think I'm happy with them just putting it on these here and then leaving the rest with that white. I think that's a really nice balance because it lets you have that little pop of color without having it be over the top. If you can't tell, by the way, I really like special edition systems and cool looking designs. So if you ever want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe to not miss out. Hey guys, look, I didn't unbox the most important part. A charge brick! Big surprise. Imagine if one day you opened up a special edition system and ignored the AC brick, only to find out later that it's some kind of insane special design because no one ever does that on AC bricks. You know, one of my immediate takeaways after unboxing and messing around with this and just seeing it in person is that I'm really happy Nintendo is finally starting to up their game a little bit when it comes to their special edition Switches. I'm a big fan of some of Nintendo's past special edition consoles for other systems, but when it comes to the Switch, it's just felt a little lazy? You know, when you have them side by side for comparison, you just see that, you know, the Switch Lite is all one continuous piece. The Joy-Cons don't have this clear degree of separation. There's an actual borderline going around the screen that isn't just a blackness. I mean, even looking at the regular ones, I mean, these just in general look like better systems than regular Switches do. But this goes beyond just that because there's an attention to detail and a design aesthetic going on that I think is really missing from past Switch special editions. I think a really good point of comparison actually is looking at the Pokemon Let's Go special edition Switch, because honestly, back when I first opened this thing, the one main good thing I had to say is that I loved the idea of having the Eevee and Pikachu style Joy-Cons, and the fact that their little wrist straps, even though I never used those, were complementary colors that actually added more to the theme was really cool. But when it comes to the Switch itself, it's just very simple. It's a black back with a slightly different shade of black for having cutouts of Pikachu, Eevee, and some Pokeballs. That's it. It's just a very simple look, and not in a good kind of clean way. It's just kind of feels like they put a pattern on it and called it a day. And this problem is not unique to the Pokemon Let's Go Switch. This is actually the one I like the most out of what we've seen in the US. I mean, by comparison, we've got the Super Smash Bros. Switch, which actually didn't have a special Switch at all. It just had gray Joy-Cons with some lines on them. And then the Diablo Switch, which was an interesting choice to have as a special edition, but again, was still just this very basic bare bones design and approach, which didn't have special Joy-Cons like this one. It just had half of Diablo's face, and that's it. You know, and now that we have the Switch on hand, we have to do a very important update to how we're ranking the different Switch Lite colors. So, starting from the bottom, building up, I'm gonna put yellow at the lowest. I don't think the yellow's bad, don't get me wrong. I think it's still a good looking Switch, and if you like the color yellow, that's awesome for you. I just think that out of all the different Switch Lites we've had so far, the white just doesn't give a great contrast to yellow. I really wish this one had different color buttons, maybe even a dark gray or something, just to give a little more contrast. So that first. Next, the gray Switch Lite, which I actually like a lot more now than I thought I was going to. When they first revealed the Switch Lite, I was a little disappointed that we had a gray one because I was like, oh, yellow and blue, those are both colorful. Why do we need a gray one? But I really like this gray, and it kind of has that opposite effect the yellow had where the nice dark slate gray it has contrasts with the white buttons really nicely. So then of course, there's the argument of what's number one, the turquoise or the Pokemon Switch Lite? And I gotta say, this is a bit of a tight one, because I really like the turquoise. I think that's a really good color choice. It has a nice contrast with the buttons, good design, but this is a special edition system, which just on its own gives it a really big power boost, especially because I am a fan of Pokemon. And between the two of them, I gotta give it to the Pokemon Switch Lite.
I wanna be the very best.
I just love the concept of having the alternate color buttons to represent the two different versions of the game. I think it's a really central concept of the Pokemon series where there's the two different versions, and this just plays into that so nicely. You know, Nintendo normally doesn't do any kind of special software stuff for special editions, like startup sounds or different things on the screen, but for the sake of thoroughness, let's just see. That'd be a great surprise. Starting up, Nintendo Switch screen. Nope, it's the way every single regular Switch starts up when you first boot it up. Worth checking out. It is really weird this did not come with Sword and Shield. I'm excited, it's just, can I have the game now? If I have a system for it, why don't I have a game now? Though I guess it is really nice to actually buy a special edition system that doesn't cost more than a regular one. Normally with a lot of the Nintendo bundles is that you get a special edition system, but then you're also spending more money. A good example is the Pokemon Let's Go Switch was, I wanna say $400 because you're getting a copy of Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee and then the Pokeball controller. In this case, it's $200, just like a regular Switch Lite. It just looks different and there's not as many of them. Now, I will say that in Japan, there have been some additional special editions that have come out for the regular Switch that look a lot better. In particular, the Dragon Quest Switch has this nice kind of blue Joy-Cons that aren't normally available and has a cool looking dock. And the strangest of all, I think, the Disney Tsum Tsum Switch looks really neat. Awesome colors, cool little back design, and I think the really just nice little touch is the Mickey Mouse logo over the home button. So things have been getting better for the regular Switches with every single special edition that comes out, but the Switch Lite definitely, I think, just puts it to a whole nother level. Partially because, again, the Switch Lite is on its own, I think, just a better looking system, and I think it's easier to do cool looking designs with, especially because you don't have to worry about, well, what if they change the Joy-Cons, what if they use different things? It's just one solid body that they can work with and actually make a thoughtful design. In fact, the Switch Lite is such a great looking system that I think it ignited in a lot more people this idea of what kind of cool special editions we can get. I mean, if you just search Switch Lite with any kind of major Nintendo search term, you're gonna see mock-ups that people have done of things that they think would be really awesome, whether it's doing some kind of Mario Red or Luigi Green, something else based on Pokemon, Metroid. There's just a lot of other really awesome ideas out there that I think the Switch Lite's gonna be able to capitalize on. I will say my one criticism with it is kind of similar to what I was saying with the Pokemon Let's Go Switch and some of the other special edition Switches, is that I wish the back did make use of just a little more color. I get the idea is just showing the kind of sketchy designs of the two legendaries, but when you look at the front and you have this great splash of color with the blue and the red, I really wish we had something like that on the back. Either if it was the lines here had some degree of actual coloration to them, maybe if it went in waves between the color and that kind of just dark edging, just something to give it a little more color. And you know, when I talk about the potential of making cool looking special editions, a large reason why I've been pretty critical, honestly, of a lot of the Nintendo Switch designs is the fact that we know Nintendo can do better, because they were right before the Switch and even alongside it. I mean, in the early years of the Switch, we were still getting special edition 2DS designs that were amazing. In fact, going on the same tangent of Pokemon, I mean, look at this thing. This is a special edition 2DS with Pikachu's face on it that is not only adorable, but a great design with great color choices and good accents on everything. The buttons, the shoulders. It's just a good, well thought out design system. And you have this going on around the same time that we got this, which is weird to me. Now again, this new Switch Lite is a big upgrade. I don't think it quite hits the same level as the Pikachu 2DS, but this is honestly a great looking system, and it makes me a lot more excited for what more special editions Nintendo is going to announce in the future, because I think this just sets a whole new bar for how they're going to be handled.